Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Power Is Mine. I'm Zhanae, your host, and this is season 3. This episode is going to be called Shame the Slut. So I wanted to make this episode because I really feel like this is a topic that needs to be spoken on, especially in the current state of the world, but also shout out Magic City documentary. So I feel like this was an amazing work of art that has been put together to acknowledge the culture of Atlanta, to acknowledge the culture of Magic City, basically like what the strip club is and what it can be. It is the untold story of the legendary Magic City. You guys, please tune in. It is literally on Stars. So that is just going to be such an amazing event. I got the privilege of watching the premiere in theaters. It was amazing. Such a beautiful work of art. Shout out Cole Brown. Shout out Chaz. Shout out Marlo. Amazing people. So many amazing people on the project. But why I decided to talk about this in the pod today is because through the telling of this story, I feel like it's adding another layer to something that people haven't particularly known about. Like the club and club culture is so demonized. And yes, there can be negative parts of club culture. But overall, I feel like it's so beautiful that we've been able to highlight that there are people that are using the club to get to the next level in life. They're using it to take care of their families. They're using it to become genuinely like who they need to be. And they're using it as a stepping stone. And yes, it can come with negative, but you should be able to turn your negatives into positives. And as long as you have your mindset on what you're going to do with your life, what you're going to do with your money, kind of like your goals, then you can turn it into something great. And not saying that I'm encouraging anybody to dance. And I've always said, whenever it came up in like my YouTube videos and stuff, that through me telling my own story, I'm not encouraging anyone to go dance, but dancing literally has saved my life. And another person that I've heard before acknowledge the same thing was Cardi B. And I've seen all the great, amazing things that Cardi B has done. Shout out Cardi, love Cardi to pieces. And people will still try to put her down by the fact that at one point she was a dancer. She has literally made a complete 180 with her life, like turned her life around, become rich as hell, taking care of her family, has a beautiful family, right? And done so much for her life. But I feel like people that don't want to see you elevate yourself no matter where you start are always going to try to throw it back in your face, whatever you had to do at your beginning, and try to say, well, you were this, you were that. You know, like there are so many people that I know in so many different stages of their life that started as different things, and to have seen their evolution to me is such a beautiful thing. People have to be given the space to grow and the space to become who they're supposed to be. Where you start is not where you finish. And I feel like the culture of slut shaming women for empowering themselves, for owning their sexuality, their sensuality, it's just so negative in society. And we don't get to see narratives where people are owning who they are as much. So I feel like it's just such a beautiful project that I was able to work on. I'm so grateful that I was able to work on this project and be able to just be a part of something as legendary as this. Like, I'm literally from Atlanta, and to be able to be involved with the telling of an Atlanta staple is just so amazing to me. And I'm so, so grateful, will forever be so, so grateful about this project. But what I wanted to get into, my first talking point, was taking your power back, reclaiming your power. And this could be in any situation that you're in. This doesn't have to be in being a stripper per se, right? So I can say that when I did start stripping, of course I was scared. Of course I didn't really know what I was going to make of this situation. I was at a pretty low point, you know, but I told myself I have a plan and I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to set forth on what I know that I can make of myself through this, and through the money that I've made, through the confidence that I've gained, through the self-expression that I've experienced by learning my dancing and being able to feel truly sensual in my body, being able to experiment with different dancing styles and, feel that very sexy, sensual energy from putting on the different outfits, putting on the 6-inch heels, doing my makeup, being fierce, and going out there and performing and giving a damn good performance. I feel like it's been such a beautiful thing for me. And I know so many women that are business owners, that are nurses, that are in law school, that are in real estate school, that are in tech, that strip. And it's just so crazy. Of course, everything comes with its own downfalls and things like that. But I think it's such a beautiful thing to watch people day in, day out that I know take something that has had a negative connotation placed upon it and use it as their stepping stone to where they want to go in life. I myself have been able to start my production company, and I think it's just been such a great thing through the mentorship that I've experienced through it, through the great people that I've met. I can say that it's been a beautiful experience for me while also still having its downsides because it's not perfect, but it's allowed me to find peace and joy in who I am and to really stand in my power, to really figure out who I was. And for that, I am so grateful and so thankful. And I feel like you guys will really be able to see that through this story that we got to tell through this documentary. So please tune in to Magic City and American Fantasy on Stars. It is amazing from what I've seen so far, and I'm so excited to see the next pieces. But what I also wanted to talk about is safely exploring your sexuality and sensuality as a woman. So as a woman, a lot of the time, I feel like there are so many limitations placed on women to be so rigidly this or that. Like, you cannot be both a mother and own your sexuality. You cannot be both an amazing businesswoman and a great wife. And I feel like it's so limiting and so unfair. And yes, there's always going to be, what am I trying to say? Double standards in society. Yes, I don't believe that a woman should completely be in competition with a man, nor trying to take something over and take away the roles of a man. However, I do believe women should be able to own who they are. And that journey as a woman, speaking for myself, where I have been able to explore who I was and learn what sensuality meant to me, learn what my sexuality meant to me, and be empowered through that journey. I think it's such a beautiful and a great thing. And I don't want a lot of women to feel so closed off that they don't know who they are and they don't have that autonomy to be able to speak up for themselves. And whether it be in the bedroom, whether it be in your everyday life, whether it be in the workplace, like, this could apply to anything. But when women tend to have a voice or have a backbone and be able to stand up for themselves, you get called the bitch, you get called the slut, you get called every word but your name or something positive, right? So I want women to be able to feel like they can stand in their power. And you don't have to become a dancer to do that. For me, I've always loved dance. I've always loved music. And it was my own choices that made me decide to dance. But I found so much strength and so much sisterhood at times in certain people that I met that were able to show me that, hey, like, I'm strong. And at one point I was at this low point in my life, and I've used my money, I've used my resources, I've used the people that I've met to get me to a different position. Like, it's insane. You would never know who you are going to meet in the midst of a strip club. You would never know. And I've realized so many people have been able to step out of the victim role by way of sex work. Now, there's so many different forms of sex work, and I feel like it's all intertwined. It was, spoiler alert, it was such a beautiful statement that I feel like was made during the documentary portion that I saw during the premiere, where they said you cannot have the saints without the sinners. It's all coexisting, and it's all such a beautiful coexisting ecosystem, because no person is perfect. And I always believe that if someone is able to look down on the next person, then the next person is able to look down on you. And it's a never-ending cycle. So people do see sex work as a heavily stigmatized thing. And once again, I'm never promoting that anybody get into sex work. But I have seen so many people going through experiences of relational violence, like domestic violence, or going through positions of poverty, going through so many different things, so many scary things. And by way of sex work, they were able to step out of the victim role. And I thought that was such a beautiful thing. I talk to so many girls day in, day out that the locker room sometimes feels like it's Oprah's couch. And it's so crazy because you would never know just how intelligent these women are, just how empathetic, how caring, how beautiful they are in spirit. And of course, you won't know because you come in, you see ass shaking, you see nudity, and you just think, oh, I've heard so many negative, so many degrading things people say towards anybody that's within sex work, no matter what facet it be. And people don't take a second to think that there is such a duality to these people. People are not a monolith. There are so many intelligent, beautiful beings that I have met in the strip club. And I know it sounds insane, but it's the truth. So what I've seen through these people becoming financially liberated, I just think it's the best thing that you can do for yourself as a woman to become financially liberated. Because what I have seen in so many different cases is a woman without money is a woman that is easily controlled. A woman without education is a woman that is easily controlled. A woman without autonomy is a woman that is easily controlled. And once again, there is so many different ways out here to get money. But as a woman, you need your education. You need your own money. You need your ability to speak up for yourself. Because when you do not have those three things, when you do not have your autonomy, when you do not have your education, when you do not have your finances in order, you are placing yourself in a position to be able to be abused, no matter what it is: financial abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse. You are putting yourself in that position. And it's so depressing, because I have known people that have endured abuse, and I've known people that were in positions to where financially they were able to be controlled. And it's just so saddening, so saddening. You will always need your education. And I know that it's such a heavy, like, buzzword thing, like soft life in today's society. Everybody wants to be taken care of. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I hate it. I hate being a hard worker, but it's just in my blood. I come from generations of bosses, of strong, independent, hardworking women. It's just in my blood. I can't run it up out of me. That's just who I am. But listen, when I say you looking for someone to take care of you, you are literally handing your autonomy over. It's so saddening. You will put yourself in a position of someone being able to abuse you because you are looking for that relinquishing of responsibility and, like, not having to take care of things financially. Get your own money. Get your own money. Have your education. Be able to speak up for yourself. It's important. It is important. Anybody that's listening to this, please listen to me and hear me good. It's important to be able to speak up for yourself. It's important to have your own money. It's important to have an education. Everything isn't just looks, glitz, and glam. Make sure that you are a well-rounded individual. It is such a beautiful thing to be a well-rounded individual. Please hear me out when I say that. And I know to some people, me saying certain things is just so night and day, black and white. Like, what is she talking about? Like, to some people, I've been told before that it's hypocritical to speak about certain things while also being a dancer. You know, but I mean, take it as you may. Everybody makes their own choices. I made my choices. I stand by my choices. It is what it is, right? But what I can say is that take me dancing away as the example. I want whoever decides to listen to me, whoever decides to watch my journey, to see what I have come through, to see what I am accomplishing, to see what I am looking forward to in the future, to see how much I lean on God and prayer and self-belief and strength and perseverance, and apply that to your life. Take out what I do for work out of it. Apply that to your life. So whoever wants to see me as a hypocrite, that's your business. I can't change that. I can't turn you away from that opinion. However, what I will say is, if you're going to look at my life and think anything, remember to persevere through whatever circumstance. Remember that trouble don't last always. Remember that your education is the most important thing that you can have, because silver and gold can vanish away, but a good education shall never decay. Silver and gold will vanish away, but a good education shall never decay. And what I have come to learn, I'm probably one of the most hippie-ish persons that you will come across. You cannot enact change without finances. It's so sad. I want to be the tree hugger. I want to be out there holding a damn sign. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. But you cannot enact change without a little bit of pocket change. Do you hear me? So you have to figure out what's going to work best for you in your life. I made my choices. I've decided I'm going to be a dancer. For it is what it is. It's going to work for what it worked for. Is what it is. But remember, you cannot enact change within your life or others' life without your own finances. Speaking to the women that want to have a soft life. I want a soft life too. I want a person to come take care of me, sweep me off my feet, treat me like a princess, give me princess treatment. However, I like to talk back. I like to say, "What'd you just say to me?" I like to say, "Excuse you." I like to say, we're not gonna do that, babe. What you talking about? I don't like to let somebody lead me to the point of leading me off a cliff. So that's why I choose to have my own education, to have my own money, to have my own autonomy, right? And you have to find what works for you. But I mean, I don't know what's coming up in the next episodes. I've only seen what I've seen at the premiere, but hopefully it'll be a little bit development on navigating being a dancer, because I've heard a few, not too much spoilers, but a few of the things that people were talking about within the documentary about being a dancer. And I think it's just so beautiful to hear different perspectives. I hear different perspectives on a daily basis. And if y'all could really listen in on what we talk about in the locker room most of the time, like, these people are just such beautiful human beings, and you would never know, because all you see them through the lens of is that's just a dancer, that's a stripper. All you see through the lens of is slut shaming. While y'all coming in, picking ones up off the floor and shoving it into your purse. Oh, who said that? Let me stop playing. So at the end of the day, do what works for you. Choose what's going to be best for you in your life. Keep in mind, your family, your friends, your relationship, your children, and all that different things. But no matter what, if you have to take anything from me in my life, remember to persevere through any circumstance. Remember, whatever somebody got to say about you is not your business. And remember, do not throw rocks in a glass house. Remember that it is okay to explore your sexuality, your sensuality. And people gonna have a little something to say, because a lot of the time the people with something to say, the people with the most to say, are scared to walk in their truth. Be able to walk in your truth. And I'm looking back at all the decisions I've made over the years, because I've been dancing for, I believe, like 3 to 4 years now. And all the decisions that I've made, I remember in like the beginning of my career, like dancing career, I started off dancing. I wasn't necessarily hiding it, but I just wasn't broadcasting it, because it was just like, I just didn't feel the need to. And I remember people finding out. I remember people being shady towards me, being like funny, throwing slick comments, being snide. And I remember how much it hurt me. And I remember how much I used to cry at night, because I knew I'm just trying to make sure I could take care of me and my peoples. Like I'm dead broke. I'm terrified of being homeless again. I'm terrified of so many different things. And all I'm doing is just trying to get this money so I can make sure I put myself on the right trajectory towards where I want to go in my future. And these people are putting me down. They're belittling me. They're being so nasty towards me. And I made the decision that I was going to stand in my truth. I was not going to be somebody that was living in the shadow. Oh my God, I'm having tears. I'm tearing up. I decided that I wasn't going to be somebody that was going to live in the shadows, and I wasn't going to be somebody that people were able to say, ha ha, I know something that you don't want other people to know. People weren't going to try to put me down for what I chose to do with my life. I was going to live in my truth. And I've been living in my truth. And now look at me. I am the key art for a Star series. Hello. Pop your shit. So, at the end of the day, I'm not telling anybody they got to do what I've done. I'm not telling anybody they got to live my life, reenact my journey verbatim. I'm telling you, don't let nobody back you into a corner. Don't let nobody put you down and make you feel like you're beneath them when you're doing what you have to do to get further in life. Period. Point blank. Period. Point blank. Because remember, when it's come to the end, when it's your time, it's going to be you and God. It's going to be you by yourself rolling around in that grave. Nobody else. Okay? So just make sure that the decisions that you make in life, you can stand on them. You can live in your truth. And you know your reasoning behind them. Because sometimes when you have a vision, everybody not going to see it. And it's not for everybody else to see, because it's your vision. So make your life what you need it to be. Build your dream life. And don't let nobody stand in your way. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Have a blessed day.